Hey guys, I realized the last video I made was a bit all over the place, and I wanted to clarify a few things, but I also wanted to apologize. I was very vague, which I don't think is the right word to describe it, but in being so vague and not being more direct, I did a severe disservice to everybody who's been researching this and looking into this and doing what they can to expose it. So I wanted to apologize to you for not being as clear as I should have been. That I was, I'm not going to give you any excuses. Anyway, there were 3 people who I had mentioned that I want to brush upon with this video. I'm sorry if I seem a little hesitant. It's saying names is big, it's heavy, it's a lot to get out, so going into more details about those names is also very heavy. But one of the people who I wanted to mention was Bernie. Now, some of you have reached out to me and were able to connect the dots and put the pieces together, but to clarify a little bit, the video that I made previously talking about a man who was dragged into the room and cried while he was doing what he did, that was him. That was Bernie. And that's been weighing very heavy. The second person I wanted to mention was the she-devil herself. Not saying her name, because if I do, I'm going to get all my videos suspended. She's a hitter, or was a hitter. If we didn't listen, or at least in my case, if I didn't listen, I got hit, was sent back home with bruises and marks. But I was also a pain in the ass. She hit me, I hit her right back. And she didn't like that. So she would tell my parents that I was hitting her and I was lashing out and I was misbehaving and, she's being terrible. It was about 2 months or so, probably about 2 months, I think, give or take, before she ended up just saying that she couldn't handle me anymore because, heaven forbid, she hits other people, but if we hit back, oh no, it's the end of the world. So she ended up getting rid of me fairly quickly because she couldn't handle being given a taste of her own medicine from a child. Now, the third person I mentioned, there's been a lot of a whirlwind of stuff around. I mentioned Trump, and I didn't word myself well, and I apologize for that. A lot of people have been asking about his preferences. And let me clarify that a little bit. If some of you may recall, I spoke previously about how they would line us up based on our age in 3 different groups. Well, and we knew that if certain people picked us a certain amount of times, we would be moved up to the next bracket because those people had a preference for older girls, or older people, not just girls. Trump was one of those people that if we were picked enough, we would be moved up to the next age bracket. So he was known for having a preference for late teens, early 20s, young adult-looking girls. He would always pick the oldest people in the line that he was allowed to pick. But that's what I meant by his preferences, and I apologize for being so vague and being unclear about it. I will try not to do so again in the future. It will probably happen, and when it does, I apologize again. When you have these memories coming back and they're not always whole, not always complete, things get jumbled, things get mixed up, and I think I rushed the last video because I wanted to name names, but I didn't. But I was excited and agitated and all over the place. So in the future, I will do the best I can to stay calm, collected and make sure I'm clarify. So, yeah, once again, I'm sorry about that. I caused a whole slew of shitstorm, and that was not my intention, and I'm truly sorry for any distress that I caused anybody. I made a mistake, and I will do everything I can in the future to not repeat that mistake. Now, in talking about that, questions came up asking about parents and about why parents would willingly put their children in this kind of situation and stuff like that. The next video I do, or one of the next videos I do, is probably going to be talking about my own personal experiences with that and the roles that I know of that my parents played in this. Now, before I go, I do want to mention that in at least my own case, probably many other cases, parents were given plausible deniability. We were sent with somebody that I was sent with somebody that my parents trusted to these events and stuff like that, so that when my parents didn't know what was going on, they didn't really have part in what was going on, and if I did bring something up to them, it would be, oh, well, I trust so-and-so, so you're lying. And that's really, they set it up in a way to cover their tracks and to not let people be able to talk. But I'm going to get more into that probably in next upcoming videos. I may take a break for a couple of days because just the backlash from this, from my last video, was pretty big. And once again, I apologize to everybody who I sent, through a tailspin. That was not my intention, and I am so sorry. But, yeah, I will do my best to do right by you in the future. Thanks, guys.